Okay, but to get into topic, let's talk about fictional relationships because this is a theme that is very like interesting to me because obviously characters aren't real, so you can't interact with them the way you can another person, and so people, especially before the advent of like AI girlfriends and things like that, which is very recent, they found very creative ways to have sort of pseudo relationships with fictional characters.
Hmm.
And as I dug more and more into the topic, it just became like something very interesting. It's just something that I was kind of amazed at people's creativity. But with that done, yeah, what are your thoughts on the matter in nudity?
Yeah, I've always found like people's like creative outlets in the form of like trying to make relationships where they might have some or don't. Always pretty interesting, um, and funny in a lot of cases. Because I remember the when DeviantArt was still like really big, you see a lot of stuff like that on there, or like Tumblr or stuff or places like that. So like the flood of people's OCs and stuff, I think played a part in people's fictional relationships, or at least the outlet that spawned that sort of thing. But I think it's generally kind of a healthy thing to do, especially when I don't know dealing with maybe like loneliness or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I'm more neutral on the topic myself. Like, I'm not super positive. Like, I do think that a lot of people can take that to an unhealthy degree and end up like genuinely hurting themselves to some tragic levels, unfortunately. But there are also a lot of people that have found, like you said, comfort and have found like happiness in this sort of stuff. So it's more of a neutral thing to me. It can be good, but it can also be pretty terrible. And we'll
Yeah,
talk about both aspects here. You
yeah,
mean the photos of someone Photoshop with an animator?
I love those
Oh
so
my
much.
god. When you were like going on about like the OCs and DeviantArt, that's exactly what I remembered. Oh my
Hmm.
god.
There's a flash through my head too, and I was trying to stifle my laughter about it.
No, you don't need to. It's just it's fair. It's fair. It's funny. Let me read something. I often make robot waifus because I found the idea of being able to make my own dream girl one day to be beautiful. So I relate to the idea of fictional waifus even when I was in a relationship. Yeah, that's actually a good segue into the first topic I wanted to talk about, which is self-insert fanfiction, the
Mm.
most like primitive way people have kind of tried to have a relationship with their waifus. I remember like this still happens today, obviously. There are some people who are still old fashioned, of course, but back in the day, you used to see that a lot. Like these like fan fictions where it would be like reader POV, and then you getting with your wife of choice for on a particular, generally popular anime or game, and
Hmm.
it was pretty fun. It was again, it's it plays into that thing I was talking about of the ways people try to have these fictional relationships are very interesting to me. You know, did you
Oh, yeah.
experience this yourself?
Mm, I would say not to a degree like a lot of people we might be thinking about, but
Hmm.
I mean, I think kind of every fella goes through that as they grow up. You know, like a popular girl in their class, and it's like, well, what if it was me? You know, that sort of thing. But I mean, yeah, to answer your question, I mean, yeah, I daydreamed about it at least, as far as my fan fiction goes.
Actually, that's really interesting because we're talking about like fictional characters, but I heard something very similar to your story from one of my friends. Like he, it was like that whole movie shit, right? He
Mm,
helped out a girl. It wasn't even a girl in his class. It was like a girl he found on the street. He helped her, and she thanked him. She flashed him like a pretty adorable smile, and at that moment, he said that he imagined a whole life together with that girl just from that one moment. I just
yeah,
imagined this, and I was like, dude, calm down.
yeah. No, that's real as hell. That's happens more than I think we're comfortable with.
Mm. Uh, like, did this happen a lot to you, or no?
I would say sadly, probably more than I'd like. But I mean, it comes with the weirdest times. Like I imagine with like your buddy,
Hmm.
but it's like you go to a like gas station or you buy a drink at the register is a cute girl and she like very kind. You're like, damn, I'm leaving here and I'm leaving my future wife behind. Even though there's nothing there, of course.
No, I do understand. Again, don't interpret my laughter as mockery. I just find some things funny due to, again, like you said, the absurdity of it. But I do
Uh,
respect it, obviously.
I get you, bud.
Uh, I remember there was a pretty good, well-written one about an original female character being in a relationship with a man, like Rorschach.
Hmm.
th- th- there are girls out there who would like self-insert into having a relationship with Rorschach of all that's pretty
It's a
amazing
good
to me,
pick.
honestly.
No, they got good taste.
Okay, I won't judge. Like that's very interesting to learn, honestly. I do think Rorschach is like a good character, so I do agree with the good taste take there. It's just not someone I expected to be like popularly attractive. But what do I know about girls, right? Anyway,
All right.
in regards to AI waifus, though, coming back to the topic, in regards to AI waifus and this more modern type of stuff, it's just interesting to me like how recent that is and how fast people are with that, because I remember just a month after this technology was announced, like it was introduced, there were already sites, like a whole sites where you could
Mm.
go and pretty much date any character. Like I remembered I uh once, like when this technology was at its very beginning, right? I went to one of these sites and I thought, obviously only like the most popular waifus are going to be there, like Sakura or Hinata or Chichi or
Mm.
anyone like that, right? And so I typed one of my personal favorites from Fate Grand Order, Abigail Williams, and lo and behold, there were a whole like four chatbots just based on that like a very niche character. So I was like, people are really fast with this thing.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy how like much that blew up, like how fast too it was, like you were saying.
um Unfortunately, it's not much of a surprise, at least to me, because we're going through an unfortunate loneliness epidemic. A lot is talked about in terms of like male loneliness, especially. But if you go to the girl side, as much as we like to criticize and clown on them, like they're not doing well either, bro. Like they're lonely
No.
too.
Yeah, it's hitting both camps here.
Yes, exactly. And so the like acceptance and the like what would how would I say, the speed in which this technology became popular is unfortunately not too surprising, at least to me.
it's not so much surprising to me either. But it's like it's because the whole like product and demand thing. But I guess like how advanced it was more surprising than anything.
Yeah, that's also a pretty interesting thing too, because like I talked to that AI bot, and you can do a whole bunch of things. Like my friends were huge trolls, right? So while I was having like a more wholesome, like sea adventure with my wife, that's the kind of scenario I went with, they straight up the first thing they typed in chat to like the characters they were talking to was, "No, I just killed this guy's entire family," and then they laughed as they watched the poor robots like fall into despair. The fact that this was even an option and it worked is really impressive to me. But I should
Mhm.
probably address this comment now. A Fisher says, "I'm also lonely, but I will never use an AI bot to chat. I just get the appeal." Honestly, I describe this experience that I have, but for real, I just used it like once too. Like I chatted with Abigail for I remember like 5 to 10 minutes, and I never like opened either character AI or any of these sorts of sites again. It's just not my thing. Also, oh, I don't get the appeal. Oh, okay, okay. Uh, Again, I get it, but I just prefer, like, I'm not one of those people that make self-insert fan fiction, but I do enjoy like making my own characters and making like romance stories between them. Like, I'm that type of person. To the last topic, and this is the one I was talking to a fisher about this, but this is the one that I feel it's most unhealthy, or has the most chances of being unhealthy, which are tulpas. And essentially, for anyone who doesn't know, I know you are aware, but probably people in the audience are not, so I'm going to explain things. Okay? Um, Essentially, a tulpa is a form of self inflicted hypnosis or self suggestion in which you kind of convince yourself that a character you like is real. And so you kind of learn to dedicate constantly a part of your brain to essentially act as an AI girlfriend, while the other part is you. And so you kind of see the character in the real world, just like in those like kids movies, right? And
Mm.
this is very unhealthy because it kind of blurs the line between reality and fiction and makes the whole relationship, especially due to the efforts and how intrusive that is by its very nature. It's the one with either that is most unhealthy in general, or at least the one with most chances to be unhealthy, at least in my view. But what do you think?
I agree. It's I was reading up a little bit on it just to refresh in my head before this. And I mean, it's inducing like a hypnosis or a psychosis, whatever, on yourself cannot be healthy, I would think. And especially when people report doing that, and then it's like that manifestation is taking on a life of its own. Like, I think you're messing with something that you probably shouldn't be messing with at that point.
Yeah, literally, you kind of reserve a part of your brain to essentially be another person, to essentially have a more advanced form of imaginary friend. It's really freaky, honestly.
Hmm.
It's definitely too much, I think. Like it, there's things I don't get, but I respect, like the fan fiction and the AI girlfriends and things like that. But I feel like that's too much, bro. Like
Oh yeah.
you need to go back a bit. So
Go
so
go back to drawings only. It's fine.
exactly, like keep it in the fiction. So I definitely agree with a fish, especially after thinking about it a bit more, that this is something you shouldn't mess with. And that will be it for today. If you liked this video, then please remember to, of course, like, comment, and subscribe. as this really helps me out even more than you think. If you really liked it though, then I'd also really appreciate if you could support me financially, either through a one-time paid comment donation or by joining my membership, where for $1 a month, you get to participate in exclusive polls in order to decide which videos I'll make next, as well as get access to a couple of exclusive videos and, best of all, even get your name added to this incredibly fancy list of awesome people right here. But of course, no matter how much you choose to donate, if you choose to do so at all, do know that I deeply appreciate any cent you're willing to throw my way, as well as just the fact that you're watching this video up to this point at all. But with that, I think it's about time to, as always, bid you guys farewell. Obscure Anime out.